Bulginaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Polly.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
In this bulletin, guns drawn at U.S. Capitol. Australia provides school assistance. And new restaurant open in Nandi.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
Police in Washington responded with drawn guns and tear gases as hundreds of protesters storm the Capitol building and seeking to force Congress to undo President Donald Trump's election loss. The latest update says a woman who was shot during the disruption has now died. This disruption followed Trump's call for a demonstration in Washington in a last-ditch effort to have the election result thrown out. The Australian government has pledged to support the Education Ministry to ensure students return to school on the 19th of this month. Australia's Councillor for Development Cooperation, Joanna Horton, says all necessary relief items and assistance will be derived from the $7 million offered by the Australian government to assist in the rehabilitation effort. She adds they will ensure requested items and essentials from the Education Ministry are procured and delivered within days.
The Fijian government has nominated education as the first priority in getting children back to school by the 19th of January, so that's where we're working to support the Fijian government to achieve that goal.
A Nandi businessman's determination has seen him open a new restaurant in Namaka following the closure of his shop last March due to COVID-19. Chatori Chaat, an Indian street food outlet, opened in November and has been doing well in the past 2 months. Owner Amit Sina was forced to close his Mumbai Dhaba restaurant in Nandi last year as sales plummeted when COVID-19 started to impact local businesses. His confidence in the economy drove him to establish a new restaurant in Namaka towards the end of last year with hopes that 2021 will be better. Sina invested over $3,000 to open his new Chatori Chaat and currently has 5 employees.
Due to the pandemic, the situation is very bad, and then one should have a courage to start. As an optimistic person, one should do something or other to survive yourself and the skills. And because main thing is when you have a loan in your head, you should do something to recover and survive.
All the banks in the country are adjusting to the new normal due to the pandemic without any significant impact on their customers. Association of Banks Chair Rakesh Ram says they are closely working with the Ministry of Economy to help those impacted by COVID-19. He adds some bank staff are effectively working from home to provide required services.
There's different ways of doing it, but without doubt, everybody or all the banks have adjusted or significantly adjusting to the new normal under the current pandemic.
Energy Fiji Limited is making steady progress in restoring the grid in Wonolevu following tropical cyclone Yasa. As of yesterday, 88% of Savu Savu has electricity, while Lambasa has 43% coverage. 48% of Sengangai is back on the grid, while restoration level in Riketi is at 19%. EFL says it is on track to completing its rehabilitation by the end of this month. With schools opening in less than 2 weeks, the Education Minister says teachers will be trained to provide psychosocial support for children. Rosie Akbar says the opening of schools in tropical cyclone Yasa affected areas is an important step in recovery process as children rely on their daily routines for a sense of security. Akbar says going back to school will help them overcome the emotional trauma and devastation caused by Tropical Cyclone Yasa. The Education Minister says they are working with UNICEF and other partners to ensure schools are ready for Term 1.
The first week of school, we hope that the teachers will undergo the training provided by UNICEF, so that when their children do return to school, they are in a position. I'm sure a lot of teachers also need this support, so that's why we're giving week 1 as a week where we do not expect most children to come in. So this week will be used by UNICEF to counsel, talk to our teachers, of course, and provide them with the psychosocial support they need.
The founder of online retail giant Alibaba hasn't been seen in public since October, around the time he openly criticized the Chinese economic policies. Up ahead, Silk Tales to be based in Australia this year, and positive turnout for basketball championship.
Oira na ngone no de nuni ena be singa ni mataka.
Mersi sunga da kena loma dina kena mikron.
Sakena ngau na mitarlo bina no baksa ngai ka wala loma taki na ngone. Dalabina oya o meliki.
Bulre oya o Samuel Samuli.
Nama ki kirau ena be mataka.
Boniti kena bagrombuka.
Ni wai tiri kalima na miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena radio Fiji One na ndomo ibiti.
Indaw kina na mataka. Dan ramai na singabo.
The Kaviti Silk Tales will be based in Australia this season as they prepare for the Ron Massey Cup in February. After their debut season ended prematurely due to COVID-19 last year, the management is not taking any chances this time around. The players will leave for the Gold Coast on a chartered flight in 2 weeks. The squad will spend 2 weeks in quarantine before they can continue their preparation in Australia.
The whole purpose of this team being created, the Kaviti Silk Tales team, is to create opportunities, dose of opportunities for all the local boys, and that is to, and if there's a club that wants a player, obviously the coaches and the management, they will let them go, because this is a development for the local boys to get a good career in rugby.
Fijiana 15's head coach Senirusi Serwakula is in full support of the notion to have a separate Skipper Cup competition for women. The issue will be discussed this Saturday at the Fiji Rugby Union Special General Meeting in Lami. At the moment, women's team's qualification for the Skipper Cup is dependent on the men's ability to make it to the Skipper Cup competition. Serwakula says women's Skipper Cup champions Lotoka had to follow their men's side to the Tier 2 competition this year. Serwakula adds he will also be looking to scout more players in the upcoming Skipper Cup competition in March.
I fully supported it, and that's because it will be unfair for Lotoka to go down to the B division when they are the champion. So it's good to have just a single competition for the girls, and it will be easier for me as a coach to finalize my 30 girls going into the World Cup in September.
Basketball Fiji is impressed with the number of turnout and performance shown by students at the Cam Pacific Basketball Championship. 27 teams are battling out at Basketball Fiji's first tournament this year that will end on Saturday. Chief Operating Officer Laipo Mau says they are planning to organize more events throughout the year to ensure players are engaged as borders are still closed. Pomau adds they plan to develop and harness young talent now before international tournament opens up.
The aim of the event was basically to start off our new year on a positive note. Obviously it's the school holidays. We wanted to engage youth, in particular secondary school students, and we thought why not do it during the school holidays where they can occupy themselves doing something that they love.
New Zealand heavyweight boxer Joseph Parker is up and running around again for the new year and is ready for his scheduled fight with Junior Fa next month. While southern parts of Fiji are seeing clearing skies, Levu and Taveuni are still under a warning of heavy rain and possible flash floods. The low-pressure trough over the north is expected to drift southward again, bringing rain to southern regions by Saturday. That's FBC News Now. Join us again at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good afternoon.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही है।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।